well, there's something that we call in Garifuna icha hoa de good, which is just giving. And the Wanaragua is something like that for me.
We have an academy of the Garifuna language, which is headed by Dr. Michele, to whom we are really appreciative. So, the Wanaragua, that's how the Wanaragua started, dancing until Gabriel wrote the word, yo, and fight. And we've been performing that ever since then, like our chief Flavio Alvarez says, every special occasion, primarily Christmas Day and New Year's.
Thank you, Mingo. Carlos, you're actually a success story that people aren't talking enough about here, because you really individually took it upon yourself to learn the rhythmic culture, having been raised outside of it for most of your life. Maybe mention that briefly, and then talk about how did you get involved in the Wanaragua?
Sure. My name is Gonzalez. Good afternoon to everybody. I'm actually half Garifuna. My father is Garifuna from Honduras, and my mother is Salvadorian. I was raised with my mother's side of the family most of my life, and learned Spanish and learned her traditions. It wasn't until I was a teenager, and then I went to go live with my uncle here. This is my uncle. And I went to go live with him and my auntie, and they were very adamant that I learn the culture and that I learn the language. And I was a bit hesitant at first. I really wasn't interested. But as I began to learn more and more, I started getting a lot more interested as well. There's something that we call in Garifuna icha hoa de good, which is just giving. And the Wanaragua is something like that for me. Even though I started learning about Garifuna at a later age, nobody really sat down to tell me, oh, these are the steps that you do, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. Nobody did that. It was just something that I saw and it stuck with me. And Wanaragua, I can say for myself, is not something that is timed. It's something that you're born with from your ancestors. And that's how I learned. And now I'm very thankful that was given to me because as you can see, we're here in the endangered cultures. And the language and these traditions are rapidly declining amongst the youth. But I believe that this was a task given to me by my ancestors to learn this, to learn songs, to learn drum, to learn these different things so that the younger generation can see me as a young person and take me as an example to continue with themselves. Thank you.
Carlos really is fluent in the language. He always talks it when he's at gatherings. He knows all the songs, and so he can join in with the Gayusa, the women singers. He can dance the Wanaragua. He can do drumming. It really is someone you can show to young people because he's also a young person, and he knows all the new media, he knows all the new dances, but he knows the culture. I haven't forgotten Philip Gabriel down there. First time I heard about Philip, it was either Pops or other members of the Wanaragua who told me he's dancing with us this year because they were all so excited he had come from Chicago to Los Angeles to dance with the Wanaragua dancers because they respected him that much as a great Wanaragua dancer. Philip, how did you become a Wanaragua dancer?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Philip Gabriel, presently from Punta Gorda, Belize. Now I live in Chicago. And I'm one of the Jankuna dancers that have been dancing from I was 8 years old. Okay? And the reason I dance it is that one day my uncle, all my uncle, they were dancers. But after one of my uncles was about to pass away, he told my mother to take me to the hospital before he passed away. He had a gift for me. So I went there with my mom, and he gave me a box. When I opened the box, he said, "This is my Jankudo uniform. I know it can't fit you, it's too big for you, but I want you to use it and carry on the culture here in Punta Gorda and abroad." And my mother went home. A couple days after that, my uncle passed away. And then my mother sold me a nice little suit. It was coming close to Christmas, and I went down with the other elders that were still alive and danced with Jankuno. And I found myself, and while I was dancing, everybody looked at me and said, "He danced just like his uncle that passed away." That's not little Philip. That's Kochocho. That was the name of my uncle, Kochocho. Okay? And from that day up to today, I am 50 years old. And I'm still dancing in Jankuno. I teach it in Punta Gorda. I go to Guatemala and dance along with my brother here, my leader, Pops. I come to Chicago. I teach in Kentucky. I go to Memphis, Tennessee. I travel a little bit and teach my dancing, and I'm proud of it. So that is why I'm still a Jankuno dancer and also a Punta dancer. Thank you.
Why don't we come back to Pops, because he is the Wanaragua chief, so we should let him have the first and last word in this discussion. What does it mean to have Wanaragua performed in Los Angeles? In the traditional form, not just kind of on the stage in what I call an emblematic form, but really as it was traditionally done by your ancestors going house to house. What does it mean to you?
Well, since like Carlos was saying, we come with that feeling regarding the performing Wanaragua. So it just after we have that we made this Wanaragua group over there. So we were talking, especially Mingo was over here. We spoke regarding the Wanaragua, why we can have the Wanaragua over here in America. So it was an opportunity for us to do it in Los Angeles, because Los Angeles, the climate over there is okay, the weather is fine in Los Angeles. Sorry for you guys, because over here snow a lot. So we can have that over here like in Los Angeles. That's the reason. That's why we have the Jankuno over there. We have about almost 25 members of the Wanaragua Road in Los Angeles, which we have some kids. They never see the Jankuno in Belize, Honduras, or Guatemala. They original in America. They Garifunas. They was born over here. And there was some of them 8 years, 10 years, and 12 years. They never saw. But the South when they start in the beginning. Now, if you guys surprised, we have 15 of those kids, American performing Wanaragua with us in Los Angeles every year, and they was coming, they're ready to perform. It's so funny because we start over there with 10 o'clock because America start live, because we can start over here 8 o'clock in the morning like back home, which is Guatemala, Belize, or Honduras, because which is in Belize or Guatemala, we start at 8 o'clock in the morning. But not over here, we start American time, which is 10 o'clock in the morning, till 12 o'clock. It's a 12, almost 12 hours. But we have a fun because any house we go, it's food, drinking, and a lot of people follow us in Los Angeles. I hope one day you guys have the opportunity to go there and enjoy the winning Wanaragua in Los Angeles. Thank you.
And you literally really do go house to house. I've been traveling with them for some time on the holidays, and at each house, the drummers are usually there first setting 3 drums up, the primero to segundo, the gayusa usually come in my car shortly thereafter, and down the street we'll see the band stop, and Wanaragua dancers get out, putting on their costumes, a lot of people looking out their windows at what's going on, and the setting for the dance is usually a front yard, so neighbors do come over trying to figure out what it is. You do about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and if you come over tomorrow, you'll see that's about all dancers can do, because it's such a rough dance, especially on the knees, where you put rattles on the knees and then shake them, and then everyone heads back to their car and goes to the next house, and that's from about 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. And it's amazing. I don't dance, I don't sing, I get on my car, I'm really tired. All of these guys have so much energy. Philip, were you just waving?
My friends, everybody.
Oh, okay.
They're waving to the dancer. I didn't get that salary.
No problem. I know we must have a few questions out there. Yes.
Okay, so I know whenever I go back home and try to perform like traditional music from my culture, it's considered kind of dorky or nerdy with my generation. How easy is it to recruit other youth and to make it something cool and fun and exciting?
Well, being that I'm one of the youngest activists, you can say, in the community, it can be a bit of a hassle because sometimes it's something different. So a lot of times I've noticed that with the youth, when I speak to them, they feel that it's something only for the older people and that they don't belong. But the thing with Wanaragua, as with drumming, it gives you a sense of pride. If you are a Wanaragua dancer, and not just a dancer that you go and you dance with the drums, no, you dress up and you go from house to house and you're a professional drummer, it brings rank in our community. People look up to you. So I personally use that to try to lure the younger kids in to the Wanaragua and also make them see this is as much yours as it is to the oldest person that you see in the group. Because the day of, those of us that are older than you, we're gonna go one day and you're gonna remain. So it's gonna be your turn to pass it on to those coming under you. So, once you tell them that, they usually are more than happy to listen.
Go ahead, Mingo.
Yes, I want to add a little bit more about what Carlos just said. One of the unique things about the Wanaragua dance and almost all the Garifuna dances is like who command what? Doesn't make sense. Okay, when we dance cumbia, you dance to the band, the rhythm, the band singing, the man playing. That's not how it happened with Wanaragua in particular, and most of the Garifuna dances. You, the dancer, is the one that tells the drummer how to beat the drum, believe it or not. When you do a footstep, that got to be answered simultaneously. So you have to be a good drummer in order to let this man enjoy his dance, because he is going to challenge you as a drummer. He's going to tell you what sound he wants to hear from his drum according to every move of his body that he makes and his feet. So it's a communication. Okay?
And it's actually fun to watch because they're really going strong. You can see them challenging, the dancers challenging the drummer, and the drummer excited that he's keeping up.
If I could just add a little bit more. If I could just add one little thing to it. Remember that this is a war dance. And the battle is actually taking place between the dancer and the drummer. So the dancer is actually trying to throw off the drummer with his footsteps. So that's why sometimes if the drummer does not answer you, you'll see a stand and the drummer will laugh and then they'll do a special beat that lets us know, okay, I'm ready. But it's a war that's going on between this drum and the dancer.
Now you have some inside information. Yes. Any last questions? Yes.
For those of us who can't come tomorrow, could we have just a little demonstration of how this will play out?
We will have tomorrow like 11:45.
Yeah. Well, you won't see the costumes, but if you walk out past the Garifuna tent, look at the large pictures of that are blown up and on the back, and you'll see the dancers. Could you do? I know we're brief, kind of a couple of the steps and a couple of the drumming. Very, very briefly.
Right now.
Okay.
Which one provides?
They only have the one drum, so they really want us to do that keeps the beat.
We could improvise. But if dancers say no,
Yeah, because if you really know the drums, and I'm learning even more here, that segundo really is kind of the heartbeat of the whole thing. So if you wander this way, if you've heard drums all day long, it's usually from this tent, because a lot of things are improvisational. So just kind of wander this way, and my guess is we can get a demonstration going, a short demonstration. Okay? Yes?
When you go house to house in LA, is it random or you already know what house you're going to?
Well, we have a schedule with the houses. We start maybe in the month of October. The people start calling to book for the Christmas day. So that's the way we do it. So we have some people we've been performing over there every year. So they have the priority. So after that, we go to people who was calling after that. To make a schedule. We went to our 17th house, Christmas Day, and 17th, New Year's Day.
So all of those are Garifuna people or just...
No, it's not only Garifuna people. Some other people, some American people, some Spanish people, mix. Whatever, we just want to perform that day for you over there. It is not a problem. We get some tips for the performance. That's the way, that's the tradition of the Wanaragua.
Yeah, it's a mix. Mostly Garifuna, because they're the people who know of it, but it doesn't have to be. And you have to almost have a schedule. Remember, they're going in a caravan from house to house, so you can't go here, then here, then here, then here. You have to go in a little bit of an organized manner. Whoa, we have a second drum. Yes, Philip.
What I want to say is that in my village, Moderator, the way how I do it on Christmas is before Christmas, which is the Christmas Eve, we have what they call the warring, where you dress in a plantain leaf. Okay? So what we do early in the morning, I will take my jankuno and we go to the cemetery, and we stay behind the cemetery until 6 o'clock in the morning, and we get in a canoe. And then we paddle right alongside the beach, and then we have the gayusas, which is the ladies. They will be waiting for us at the market pier. And while we get there with the drums playing, then they greet us with the song. Then we come on land in the planting leaf, and we dance all day, house to house on Christmas Eve. Then Christmas morning again, we dance from 6 in the morning on New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, to 12 o'clock at night. Okay? Then after we finish, we go to relax early morning at 6 o'clock again, Christmas Day. All my gentlemen will come again, they will gather at my house, and then we go by the church. We start after the church, we start from the church. House to house all day Christmas. That's where we do in Punta Gorda.
Thank you. And they're telling us our time is up, but we have the two drums, and I would not insult the drums by not allowing them to be played. So how about a really brief... Segundo, the larger keeps the beat, and this goes more to rhythm, follows the beat.